Good morning and happy spring. And I'm in my spring colors and just want to talk to you a little bit about Venus retrograde. Oh God, I love this because my only certification is in the Venus star point. And in the blog, I talk about going to Venus star rising, Ariel Gutman, and all of that. So just know that Venus has been retrograde since March the 1st, and we'll go direct on April 12th. Approximately 40 days. So we got 40 days in transfiguration. We got 40 years. I mean, so 40 is a pretty important number to the Bible, those little books. And so Venus, being a goddess that rules feminine earthy Taurus and masculine Libra air sign, I see her as having both masculine and feminine, a warrior side, which is her morning star phase, and that starts technically on March 22nd for approximately 9 months. And then her evening star phase, we're just leaving the lovers, Venus in Libra phase. Who are we together? The us of the us, the we of the relationship. And that began in June of 2024. And so basically, what we're looking at is when retrograde Venus, and she saddles very close to the Earth. She's in between the Sun and the Earth when she retrogrades for those 40 days. And so she's in Aries until March 27th, where she'll back up into Pisces on March 27th until April 30th. So what does this all mean? Well, it basically all means that we are in a cycle of reevaluating love. We get a second chance at love. The retrogrades are not negative, except to the unexamined and unreflective and the Thoreau living a life of quiet desperation energy. But to the soul, to the part of our beings that has the larger arc of our lives, the retrogrades represent an ability to see things from an evolutionary perspective. So, you Aries people, and by extension, you fire sign people, and because Venus retrogrades in the same spot, almost same spot every 8 years, we can go back to 2017, 2009, 2001, 1993. You get the point here. So what it means for Aries people is that fire, that spark, that flamingo in the pink kind of balance between my ego and your ego of self-love. And yes, primary narcissism. There is a response that babies are to have to get us to take care of them. So as the zodiacal baby Aries, it's important for you to understand it's okay to cry, it's okay to whine, it's okay. It's just give yourself a time period. Say, hey, I'm going to wallow for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 days, whatever it may be. But show the power in your vulnerability. And in that, your complementary sign. Remember, when we're in the Venus star energy, it can be double yang, it can be double yin, it can be a little mixture of both beyond gender. We're both energies. So your complementary sign, not your opposite sign, Aries, Libra, talks about the ability to understand the us, being able to throw out those relational trial balloons. So you Libran seasonal people may be feeling ever since February 5th when Venus went into Aries, and she'll be in this Aries Pisces mix until June the 5th. So approximately almost exactly 4 months. Every 8 years, 4 months, you're getting this kind of harmony that Venus brings to us. Yes, so you Libran individuals, you may have been just through the ringer about, well, what do I need? Not, that so-called unrequited love. Or the Sisyphean, where you feel like you keep rolling the ball up the relationship hill or mountain, only for it to roll back down. Well, no matter how this is happening for you, Libran, it's about you learning how to integrate the I back into the we. So 1 + 1 = 3, Libra. And since we're in a retrograde energy, I'm going to go backwards in the sky in terms of, so we're going to go back to Pisces, because it will be from the 27th of March until April 30th that she will retrograde into Pisces. So that indicates you, I believe in the absolute form of love, or the purest form of love, or love throughout the dimensions. And I just saw an excellent series called One Day on Netflix. And it speaks to the One Day, the movie with, or from the David Nichols book, and then the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer and George Clooney. But this takes it to another level. So you Pisces people can sometimes feel like you're going through, not so much like the ringer that I suggested with Libra, but this soulful kind of, mix, bittersweet aspect to love and partnership. And the retrograde Venus is just saying, pause, reflect, and love yourself absolutely. Words matter, much like Black Lives, but words matter, because when you say unconditional love, Pisces, condition is still in there. So we want absolute, we want pure, we want to feel as if the harmony, that internal equilibrium is always there. All right. So your complementary sign, Pisces, is Virgo. So Virgo, with this retrograde Venus, you can easily be feeling underappreciated, as all of us. But with you, it can hit your pocketbook, your budget, understanding that you might want that luxury item. You might wait for it to drop in price. But the important thing is to understand the intention, the emotional, soulful aspect of why you want this in the first place. And so the adjustments that you may need to make, Virgo, is about you asking humbly, negotiating from a mutually submissive, remember I said mutually submissive position. All right? And then your next energy, if we're going backwards, is Aquarius. And so Aquarius, Aquarius Leo, it's the willful axis. I will in Leo, we will in Aquarius, and this retrograde in Aries Aquarius can end up having you being unfiltered and just basically mean. So yes, you are loyal to truth, but Venus retrograde, when she's closer to the earth, she says, what about your loyalty to love, or your loyalty to beauty? Yes, air sign, water bearer, containing feelings, because lest you don't do a vigilant watch over your feelings. Water and feelings contain the memory, Aquarius. If you don't watch them and contain them, then they can come out not so much mean, but heartless. Yeah. But when you go into the Leo side of your nature, the heartfelt intelligence part of your nature, then your communication becomes softer. It becomes more receptive. Or you pause and you ask questions instead of offering up unsolicited opinions. And with you, Leo, it's important that you get the understanding of being clear about your fire, about your spark. And since you're fixed or controlled, inwardly modulated fire, Leo, your lesson when we have all this Aries Pisces energy is to recognize the dignity of each human being. Yeah, if you're putting people down or setting yourself above, then we know you're not tending to those inner fires or those inner wounds from childhood, most likely from the father's side, or from those people who carry a lot of masculine energy. They say, well, what did you do today? And how are you representing the family? So Leo, you're understanding that self-love, absolute love, begins within through service, sacrifice, and surrender consciously. So it's important as we move backwards, we're going to Capricorn, and what that indicates is I utilize. So a retrograde Venus in Aries and Pisces can have you Capricorn, you goaters, you goat folk, looking at, well, are you the greatest of all times, to make a play on that acronym? But it's important to understand healthy ambition. And is it necessary? Is the ambition replacing the wounds, or I'll show you, whether that's father, mother, or your whole ancestral pattern? or your biological sex. Male as provider, woman as provided for. Venus retrograde ain't having any of that. So the more that you can deconstruct phallocentric heteronormative discourse, yes, masculine centered, the doing aspect, the separating aspect, and that can come in any sex. Yes, the more Capricorn that you take the lead of centering your soulful energy and communicating specifically from that Pisces sense of complete, whole, absolute love that March 27th to April 30th will give you a revisiting on. Yeah, Cap, you will be beyond beautiful, trans beautiful, as a matter of fact. So and then your complementary sign of Cancer, you probably will find the Piscean side of the Venus energy from the March 27th through the April 30th a little bit more in tune with your sensitivities and your nuanced nature, and you're wanting to understand how to look at all of the different ways in which we connect and disconnect. Love, love, love this song called Strange by Celeste. And it talks about how is it that we go from, stranger to friend to lover to stranger again. And again, back to one day, they make that comment about the ability to how do we meet a stranger and then they become the most important person in our lives. So Cancer, you're working on those feeling moments, those abilities to really understand the power and the source of your energy, of your vulnerability, expressing those vulnerabilities, which Capricorn, we reverse back into Sagittarius. The Sagittarius and Gemini axis can represent the ability to, I think as the Gemini I see is the Sag. And Sag, you get caught into these emotional truths. And Venus retrograde is ripe. I mean, just full of emotional truths. It's better to be heard, Sagittarius, than to be right. So, our raw material, set your intention, Sagittarius, because Astro RM is about the combination of the pillar of intention that goes to Sagittarius as the sign. And so Venus retrograde, like a Mercury retrograde, which Mercury is in retrograde too right now, this Venus star point in Aries will buttress or support that unfiltered intentional ability to just increase the spark, to elevate, to rarefy your relationship, Sag. And if you are feeling disharmonious or disconnected, just leave for a while. Go get some air. Imagine yourself in a hot air balloon or a dirigible that doesn't fall out of the sky and just kind of float away to get a larger arc on a situation. And if it's bringing up things from childhood, do not detach from the feeling, go deeper into them, okay? Your complementary sign is obviously, well, not so obviously, it's the thinking, therefore I am, Gotha, Gemini energy. And this retrograde Venus in Aries, which is a friendship sign for you. So you feel all elevated and let's get stuff done. And Gemini, I like to say that you're this older soul and the other twin is this eternal child. And you're here to integrate these two parts of yourself. And a retrograde Venus, along with a Mercury in retrograde as well until April 7th, these two energies being in retrograde really bring into full focus the child, the mythological child of Venus and Mercury was Hermaphroditus. So there is that transgendered energy going on again with you. So Gemini, really pay attention and observe when you need to be active and when you need to be passive, when you need to be warrior assertive in setting those boundaries, and when you need to just kind of lay back and be and exist. And I love, love, love the first line to the Tao Te Ching. The Tao, or the way, that can speak of itself as not the Tao. That's why people think you talk a lot, Gemini, and you can. But there are time periods that, you are pretty chill about communication and you're more observing. So, and then the last but not least reversal or moving retrograde and reflecting from the soul's perspective is the Scorpio-Taurus axis, the axis of security. Scorpio, I create and I desire, and Taurus, I have, I own. You belong to me is Taurus's refrain. But ultimately, both of these signs, with Taurus being the warrior side, the self-contained side of Venus, you can feel Scorpio these next 9 months, with it being retrograde or the start point being in Aries backing up into Taurus, is how do you serve exactly? How do you, I tend to joke that, Scorpio is where you deconstruct the ego so we can play along well with others. And Venus retrograde with Mercury in retrograde in Aries, Pisces, Scorpio is giving you an excellent time to lean into, like I told Cancer, your vulnerabilities. But Cancer can do it, kind of on the slide. They no crab move sideways. You as Scorpio, you are learning to do it more internally, really seeing and feeling what you would like in deeper positive, deeper shared connections first, to get the feeling, the harmony of it, and then just pausing and allowing the cosmos to bring it to you. And you might, like Cancer, like when Venus retros or moves backwards apparently through Pisces from March 27th to April 30th, because Pisces rules, from a solar radiant perspective, your fun, your play, your just being able to drop those, those controls. And you, Taurus, oh, man, I feel for you. I mean, yeah, Shaka Khan, written by Prince. Baby, baby, when I look at you, there's no place I'd rather be. Right? So who do you feel that for, Taurus? And have you communicated it? And with Mars being in retrograde from December 6th to February 23rd, you might have had a lot of speed bumps in your relationship life, only for Venus to go retrograde basically a week later. So yeah, you've had some challenges, Taurus, but all of that outside turbulence is directly reflecting how much you maybe haven't been reflective. Yeah, where you are just moving through the world with your beautifully magnetic self and not questioning, what does grace mean for you? And is it an outer and inner alignment of beauty? Pretty is as pretty does, and pretty can be pretty ugly sometimes. So Taurus, it's about, divine laziness for sure. Like as I vainly keep adjusting this ad, it's just understanding the I have, the security is an internal piece. And how are you sharing your heart? And the retrograde Venus is saying, let's really look at the fire of self-love with Aries, but at the same time, let's understand how to offer that love freely, Taurus, not from an exchange perspective. Because love, after all, as Yogananda used to say, it's not a commercial bargain. So if you want more information about your Venus star point, your personal passion point, that alignment of the Sun, Earth, and Venus while you were interuterine, are you morning or evening? Hit me up in the comments, and we'll go from there. But peace be on to you. Oh God, I love these times of year, right?